Hi friends, welcome. Today's practice is all about hitting that reset button for your brains. So maybe you're a busy student, you're studying for exams, you're cramming, and you feel like you can't take in any more information. Maybe you're dealing with brain fog, forgetfulness, you're just tired. I've got you covered. So we're going to do a few balancing poses that help you to bring that attention inward, to sharpen, and then we're going to introduce a few inversions, which are honestly a godsend for brain health. Today, I recommend you have a chair, especially if you're a little bit stiff, a block and a blanket. And once you have your props, we're going to go ahead and get started.
Nothing like a couple of balancing poses to quiet the brain, connect us with the body, and bring us into a sharp state of focus. Let's stand near to the wall just in case we need a little help with balance. Start in Tadasana. Connect with the earth element to ground yourself. Press your heels into the floor, spread the toes, and try to stand up very tall and straight. Roll your shoulders back and look straight ahead. And take a few breaths to feel the body from the base of your feet all the way to the top of your head. Now for a tree pose, turn your right foot out and bring your right heel up. You can use your hand and pull the ankle up very close to the left inner groin. Point the toes directly down. Press the heel against the opposite thigh. Relax the inner thigh towards the knee and pull the outer left hip inwards towards the midline of the body. If you can balance, bring your hands into Namaste in front of your chest. If you are having a hard time balancing, the wall is right there. You can put your hands against the wall. Then if you are balancing, extend the arms up overhead. Make sure you're breathing, pressing through your standing inner foot, and keeping the eyes soft. Bring your hands back to Namaste and release the right leg. Come back to Tadasana. Turn the left foot out, turn the thigh out, slide the heel up, pull up with your hand to get the ankle really high up. Press the heel against the inner right thigh, groin, point the toes down. Bring the outer right hip in, compacting your hips, and then lift the spine up. And if you can, bring your hands to Namaste. Keep the eyes looking straight ahead. And then if you can still balance, reach your arms really high up. Lengthen the side body up. Take a few breaths. Balance, breathe, and bring your hands back to your chest and release the left foot down. Stand again in Tadasana. Now, make sure you have a block nearby. You can even hold it in your right hand. We're still near to the wall. Let's take the feet wide apart for half moon pose or Ardha Chandrasana. Turn your left foot in, turn your right foot out. Lean towards the right and bring the hand down with the block onto the floor. Bend your right leg and slide the hand forward 6 to 8, maybe even more inches. Lean into that block and start to lift your left leg. You got to bring the foot in a little bit, taking a few steps in, and then from the inner thigh, lift the left leg up, straightening the leg, reaching out through your heel. And then straightening both legs, lengthen the front of your left thigh, your inner left thigh towards the heel, and reach the heel away, feeling that left leg elongating into space. Lengthen the spine. You can look straight ahead or you can look up. To come out, bend your right leg, reach the left leg back and down, and you can come up with your block in hand. Pause a moment, reset in Tadasana. Catch your breath. Then switch and hold your block in your left hand. Spread the feet, right toes turn in, Left foot is out. And then bending the left leg, bring the hand down. Walk your right foot in and reach the left arm away. Bring the hand to really press into that block, to lean into that block. Then go ahead and take your right heel, right leg up, reaching out through that inner leg. Make sure your toes point directly forward. Keep the foot lined up or even a little bit higher than your hip. Don't let the leg feel heavy to pull you down. You have to energize and activate and reach your heel away from you. Elongate your spine through the crown of the head. You can look straight ahead. You can look up and take a few breaths. Enjoy the stretch. And then reach back and come all the way out. And here we are, back in Tadasana. Now we're going to set up for Uttanasana. If you are tight, this is a standing forward bend. If you're tight, if you know your hamstrings are tight, then you can use a chair. Otherwise, we can start with a couple of blocks. So, with your feet hip width apart, point the toes directly forward, keep your legs straight. Take your hands onto your hips, take an inhalation, lift the chest, and while you exhale, bend at the hips and bring your hands down. They can come onto the seat of a chair, they can come on top of blocks as I'm showing, or you can put your fingertips on the floor. Elongate your front spine, press the front of the thighs back, bring the weight into your heels. Good. Take your hands onto your hips, take an inhalation, and come back to standing. Stand up tall, roll the shoulders back. Then from there, we're going to repeat the pose, but we're going to rest the head on a block, maybe 2 blocks. You can also, again, use the chair. I'll show that in a moment. Because we want to support the head now. So we're going to lift up and bring the hands forward if you're using the chair. With your legs straight, you can cross your arms and rest your forehead on the arms or onto the seat of the chair. If you're more flexible and don't want to use the chair, you can put that aside. And then lifting up, coming forward, your fingertips come to the floor. Then, keeping your legs straight, kneecaps lifted, release the head down, and if possible, rest the top of the head on top of a block. Or you can stack up a couple of blocks. Now it's important that you don't bend your legs and let the body become sloppy here because you want that sharpness to be felt in the back body. But at the same time, you want your head supported. When your head is supported, the brain quiets down. It's very, very relaxing for the mind. Take a few breaths here. Your hands can be around your ankles or the fingertips, or the hands can be onto the floor. And then you can stay longer if you wish, or you can take your hands onto your hips with an inhalation, come all the way up, and bring your feet back together. Take a moment and be upright in Tadasana. Keep your gaze soft. Next, we're going for Prasarita Padottanasana. And again, for those of you that are a little more stiff, you can use your chair so that you can rest your head on the chair. So spread the feet wide apart, 10 toes pointing directly ahead, kneecaps lifted, and center thighs back. With your hands on your hips, inhale, exhale, and come forward. You can cross your arms on the chair, and again, rest your forehead either on your arms or on the seat of the chair. Those of you that are flexible, you can go all the way down, bring your hands down. Walk your hands back so that your heels of your hands line up to the heels of your feet and point the fingers forward. Then round the back and release the head down. If your head is pretty close to the floor, but not on the floor, just add a couple blankets maybe, or your block. Again, really important for the head to be supported. Soften the back. Let the ribs come closer to the skin of the back. Relax your head, relax your eyes. You may even wish to close your eyes here. But keep your legs firm, kneecaps up, and breathe. This is a wonderful way to prepare the body for headstand. And for those of you that don't do headstand, it's a good replacement for headstand as well. Because a lot of the benefits come right here as you rest your head down. So come up, straighten your arms. Take a breath, take your hands onto your hips, and come all the way up. Walk your feet back together and stand in Tadasana. Next, we're going to do downward facing dog, again with the head supported. So you'll come to all fours and you'll have a block that is underneath your breastbone. Now it could be on this middle height or it could be flat. When we go into downward dog, we're going to keep our arms and legs straight. We're going to lift the shoulders up, push the thighs back, and let the head rest on the block. Now we're not going to bend our arms or our legs or collapse our chest to get the head down. So if you find that your head is not on your block or your blanket, just add a little extra support for it. Here again, relaxing the head allows the brain to quiet down. And also, it's a great way to prepare the body and the brain for headstand. Take a few breaths. Keep your legs very straight. Keep your hips lifting up, feeling the side body, the sides of your waist lengthening up towards your hips. Bend your knees, come all the way down, and take a moment in child pose. You can rest your head on your block or onto the floor. Now we're going to do headstand or Sirsasana. This is really a wonderful pose for removing that kind of brain fog, to bring us into a sharp state of focus and to really quiet the mind. So let's set it up. We'll go near to the wall and place a blanket for our forearms and our head. Bring the elbows to line up to your shoulders and cross your fingers. If you're not familiar with headstand, please make sure to see my video on headstand and shoulder stand. I will post that right here. Pressing the forearms, tuck the head into the back of the hands and start to lift your knees, lift your hips, and walk in. Lift your shoulders up by pressing your forearms, and then take one leg and your other leg up towards the wall. Once you're there, quickly bring your lower back, your buttocks, away from the wall. You can keep your heels on the wall for balance. And as you lengthen the legs up, you may wish to take one foot off the wall and try to balance. The wall's right there if you need to. Your feet will go right back onto the wall. Pressing the forearms, lift the shoulders, and feel that you're pressing evenly from the elbow on the right to the left, forearms, the wrists. Try to not grip your fingers very hard and breathe. Feel all the way to the bottoms of the feet. Push out through the balls of your foot. Roll your outer thighs in and enjoy being upside down. Now you could stay as long as you wish, as long as your shoulders are up and you're not putting a lot of strain on your head. And when you're ready to come down, you'll take one leg and then the other and rest in child pose. And now we're going to come up and set up for bridge pose. So we're going to lie down on the mat with our legs bent. We're going to roll our shoulders under, grab hold of the side of the mat. By pressing the heels down, we're going to lift the hips really high up. Keep lifting the tailbone up, sides of the waist up, ribs up, and come high onto the tops of your shoulders. And then come all the way down. Take a breath. Let's do that one more time. Again, rolling the shoulders under, pulling the mat away from the body, away from your shoulders. Push your heels, lift up really high. Lift your tailbone up. Draw the outer buttocks, outer hips in to help you get higher up. Lift the back of your thighs up. Come higher and higher onto the tops of your shoulders. And then come all the way down. Take a moment's rest. Now roll to your side and come up. You need a blanket or two and one block, depending on how thick your blanket is. So if your blanket is thin, take 2 blankets. And if they're thick, like mine, I'm only going to use 1. From what I call headstand size, I'm going to do a trifold. So I accordion fold my blanket. So it's quite thick. And it's 3 folds. Now, this blanket is going to support my shoulder for Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, another variation of bridge pose, but we're using a block. So I'm going to keep my block nearby. I'm holding it up high, and the narrow edge is going to go underneath the tailbone. The head is on to the mat or onto the floor. So as you did before, push your heels and lift your hips high up. Then bring the block underneath your tailbone. You may have to lift your heels high up and place it there. Take care that you are symmetrical, that your block isn't turning this way or that. And then release the block and stay there for a moment. Again, roll the shoulders under and really lift your chest up so that you are coming to the very tops of your shoulders. Relax your neck. And then you can straighten one leg. And if you're good here, if you're comfortable, go ahead and straighten your other leg. Keep your legs firm. Don't let your toes to turn out. Keep your legs active. Draw your outer hips, outer buttocks in. Roll your thighs in and reach out through your inner heels. Keep the chest lifted and keep relaxing into the throat and into the jaws. Again, the eyes can gently gaze towards the heart as the chest and the heart lifts up and comes closer towards the chin. Stay here as long as you can and breathe. When you're ready, you're going to bend your legs, lift your hips up higher than the block, and gently bring your hips back down. Take that thick blanket from under your shoulders, open it up, place it under the head and the neck, and rest with your legs bent. Taking Shavasana for a moment here. You can drop the knees to rest against each other. Take your feet a little wider than the hips. This will soften the back, reset the back after Setu Bandha, which sometimes feels like the back grips in that pose. This releases that grip. Rest here. Breathe here. And let go any tension. When you're ready, roll to your side and come all the way up. And hopefully you're feeling refreshed, a little sharper, and ready to take on your day. Namaste.